Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily, the first English news program in Poland. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. The leader of the Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczynski, sent out a strong message during today's party convention. His speech concerned the defense of the integrity of family and Polish children against LGBT propaganda. During the conference, the party's candidate for the European Parliament signed a European declaration, including the party's campaign promises for the upcoming elections to the European Parliament in May.
The Law and Justice Party chairman once again underlined the importance of the upcoming autumn elections to the Sejm and Senate.
A stawką tych wyborów
The future of our nation and our country will be settled in these elections. I also said, and I will repeat that, if our opponents end up winning, it will not be as bad as it was before, it will be worse.
trzeba powtarzać.
Jarosław Kaczyński stated that social programs supporting families are the most important to his party.
My, szanowni państwo, inwestujemy w rodzinę.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are investing in the Polish family. We are investing in the family because family is a basic social structure which is failing at the core of our civilization, including Polish civilization and tradition.
Naszej cywilizacji. Także polskiej cywilizacji, polskiej tradycji.
The leader of the ruling party pointed to the dangers facing Polish families, for instance the heavily debated LGBT+ declaration signed by the Warsaw mayor Rafał Trzaskowski.
Trudno to nazwać wychowaniem.
We cannot call that education because it is not education, it is social engineering, which aims at changing a person. Sexualization of children at a very young age is in its core. Tolerance is crucial, it must be respected, and I will stress that again. However, we cannot mistake tolerance with affirmation. Affirmation is support. Affirmation leads to an idea or some sort of institution spreading and strengthening. Marriage and family values are affirmed in Poland through our culture and our law, and we will always say no to attacks on children.
Czy jakieś zjawisko społeczne się rozszerzało?
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki mentioned the ruling party's new election program, colloquially called the Kaczyński's Five.
Nasi konkurenci polityczni.
Our political opponents see Europeanship as a cultural revolution, as introducing a revolt. For us, Europeanship means a better life for Poles, providing bus links, 500+ zlotys for the first child, a pension program, and no income tax for the youngest workers. We are building up the middle class. I want to be the Prime Minister of a wider middle class, not the elites. They will make it work for themselves. The Law and Justice Party is the best host for this country.
France experienced yet another violent Saturday. It's the 17th weekend of the Yellow Vest protests. According to its organizers, today's manifestations are to decide the fate of an initiative in the entire country. More on the subject, Zbigniew Stefanek reporting from France.
Dzisiaj odbył się kolejny dzień ogólnokrajowych protestów.
Today there was another Yellow Vest protest across the country. They took place in most of the bigger cities in France: Paris, Bordeaux, Toulouse, Lille or Strasbourg. However, it seems that the motivation among the protesters is lessening by the day. In the last week there were only 33,000 protesters accounted for. At the same time, support for the current president Emmanuel Macron is on the rise. In a recent opinion poll, Macron ended up with 31% of the votes. The French head of state went on a counter-offensive and continues the debate which he himself initiated, which ends on March 15th. The Yellow Vest protesters already announced that they will gather on the streets a day later to put pressure on the current authorities, so they draw some conclusions from the debate and include them in the proposed solutions for the issue. It seems that Paris will have to answer in front of the International Investigative Commission for the alleged abuse of power by the French law enforcement when dealing with the protests. The investigation was called for by the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet.
Tak, aby ci uwzględnili konkluzję tej debaty.
The Polish parliament might revise the Sunday trading law. Currently, trading in large stores is prohibited on 3 Sundays in each month. The law was originally intended to improve the prospect of small family-owned grocery stores. However, the evidence suggests that the law has not been effective, and small family-owned stores are reporting operational losses. In an interview with the TVN24, the Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki spoke about this issue.
In an interview for the TVN24 channel, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki admitted that he has taken changes to the Sunday trading prohibition under consideration. He added that a political debate concerning the social and economic effects is going to take place. Unfortunately, the evolution of the Polish economy in the time of the Third Republic of Poland led to the fact that foreign shops and shopping centres are dominating. So one of the goals, even a dream, was for the lesser Polish shops to develop. The first analyses indicate that this didn't happen. My imagination goes far. I see a variety of solutions. We can take different actions, but exactly what? To answer that, we have to wait a while. The Sunday trade prohibition came into force in January 2018. The draft law was introduced by the Solidarity Trade Union. Workers in the big shopping centres demanded Sundays free of work. According to originators, there is no need to change the law, but to clarify it. Opinions of MPs are divided. They're due to work on the two trade prohibition drafts on March 13th. The first draft was introduced by the Modern Party.
Na każde 4 niedziele.
The draft abolishes the trade prohibition law, but introduces a guarantee that employees have 2 Sundays off per month instead. The second draft was introduced by the Law and Justice Party, but there are no details about it. The party's previous draft concerned the trade prohibition for shops that operate as post offices, but this proposition will be withdrawn in favour of other changes. There won't be a return to general trading. It's all about clarifying this law. According to publicist Rafał Ziemkiewicz, Hungary had a similar problem and retreated from the trade prohibition. The Hungarian Prime Minister retreated from this law, but he's a pragmatic politician. Our politicians are waiting for the Solidarity Trade Union's opinion. The trade prohibition introduces chaos and consumers don't like that. The Sunday trade prohibition has been introduced gradually since January 2018. Now it operates on 3 Sundays of the month. According to the law, shops will be closed on every Sunday from next year, with days leading up to Christmas excluded.
Manfred Weber, the leader of the largest party group in the European Parliament, the EPP, has said that it's up to Viktor Orban whether he wants his party, Fidesz, to remain in the EPP. The EPP will meet on March 20th to discuss whether or not to throw Fidesz out over an anti-mass immigration campaign that the party has conducted in Hungary. In said ad, the president of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, and the US billionaire George Soros were accused of plotting to destroy European civilization through mass immigration.
The leader of the EPP, Manfred Weber, states that Orban's actions will decide whether Fidesz will stay in the EPP or not.
Viktor Orban in the last years and months and days always were clearly committed that he wants to stay inside of the European People's Party. He wants to be member of this formation. And if he cannot stay, then he wants to, in a way, be kicked out. So there was a clear commitment from him on the table that he wants to stay. When he wants to change now his opinion, then he decides for himself in which political formation he wants to stay. So it's up to him to decide in which political family Fidesz should be placed.
Gergely Gulyas, the chief of staff of the Hungarian Prime Minister's office, argues that it's only the parties within the EPP which voted for the legislation of mandatory refugee relocation quotas that now want revenge against Fidesz. Only parties within the EPP who supported and voted for the immigration quotas in the European Parliament attack Fidesz. Gulyas continued by stating that Fidesz wants to stay in the EPP, but he doesn't believe that it would hurt the party if they were forced to leave. We have set our aim, which is to participate at the European Parliament elections as members of the EPP. We think this is the interest of the European People's Party too. If the EPP thinks otherwise, then of course there is a possibility for everything. I don't even think that this would actually hurt us itself, but we still would like if the unity of the EPP could be maintained until the elections. If the EPP decides on March 20th to expel Fidesz, it's likely that they will form a new party group together with right-wing parties such as the Polish Law and Justice Party and Matteo Salvini's Italian Lega Party. The European elections will take place in late May.
That's it for today. See you next time on Poland Daily. But stay tuned for the Poland Daily Weather Report, followed by Poland Daily Business.